Welcome back to Web Cafe AI, where we do daily ChatGPT and AI videos. And in today's video, I'm going to show you one of the most important AI automations that you need to add to your business right now. That being AI automated emails when it comes to customer inquiries for a service or a product that you are selling. Now, I've done a video on this in the past, but I wanted to make an updated version of this using GPT-4's model, as this is a more comprehensive model at handling this kind of situation. Now, if you're not familiar with AI automation or Zapier and ChatGPT, check out that video right there as I show you how to implement ChatGPT of Zapier. But for today's video, let's jump in and let's start building out a Zap using the new model of GPT-4 to answer customer inquiries when it comes to your business and save you time and save you money. To start off, let's go ahead and just create a new Zap here. I'm going to call it AI automated email, and then I'm going to put in brackets GPT-4. To start off, we're going to use the trigger of a new labeled email. So this gives you discretion when to apply and run this flow. I'm going to go ahead and use my courses Gmail, and then let's go ahead and jump over to our courses Gmail right here, and let's create a new label. In order to do so, I'm just going to go ahead and come over to labels. I'm going to add here, and then please enter your new label. We're going to say customer response, and then we're going to go ahead and say create. And then now we have our new label created here. We're going to be able to find that in our Zapier flow, which may take a second here. So sometimes you're going to have to hit clear here, refresh fields, and let's see if it shows up. All right, so I had to reload the page, but once I reloaded the page, as you see here, our tag shows up here, or label. From there, we're going to hit continue, and we're going to go ahead and test it. And this should show up that basically no email has received this label, which is fine. And then what we're going to do is, for my sake, I'm going to send over a test email to my courses account. I'm going to add this label, and then we're going to build out this flow. All right, perfect. So I went ahead and sent it from our business account. If you're not familiar with Web Cafe, we do AI automation services for businesses for contexts like these. From here, though, I got the email, and then basically wondering what it would cost for my real estate business and what you can do for me. What is the cost of AI automation? From here, we can go ahead and add our label, customer response. And then once we build out the flow, once we just do that simple step of adding that label, it will start to trigger and do everything for us, such as respond to the email, give a subject line, and so on. So let's go ahead and do that. From here, now that we've added that label, we're going to go ahead and test this again, and it should show up as one of the test variables. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and begin here. We're just going to go ahead and make a ChatGPT block. Obviously, in my old tutorial, I used OpenAI, but ChatGPT has come out with a more specialized version of ChatGPT. I suggest you using this one for a multitude of reasons. And what we're going to do here is going to do conversation. We're going to hit continue here. And then essentially, let's begin. So based off the title of this email, we'll do the subject line. We're going to do the subject line. Let's go ahead and find it here. This is the body, obviously, for the subject line. We can probably find that. Let's go ahead and do that. Perfect. We got the subject line right here. And then we're going to say, based off the body of this email, semicolon, parentheses again. We want to give GPT the most amount of information possible. Generate 3 business toned responses giving information about Web Cafe AI services. And here's what we're going to do. You might be telling yourself or asking yourself, well, that's great, but how does it know what the pricing is? How does it know how to respond? So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a context block here. And we're going to essentially basically lay out important details about your business that reoccur when people ask questions like this. So what we're going to do essentially is going to write out everything that I find is important and relevant to my business. So my context essentially is this big old paragraph. Obviously, the more information you provide GPT, the better the response will be long-term when dealing with multiple messages. But essentially, this just goes over Web Cafe AI, what it is, the tier services we provide, 250, 500,000 USD, and essentially what each one of those do. What I'm going to do here is add one last parameter and basically say, give an example of how AI automation can benefit the specific individual in the email. Okay, so now we're going to fine tune the underlying model here to be a little bit more specific. and better. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first off up our model from 3.5 to GPT-4. Perfect. And then from here, there is a couple other stuff. You can leave user, you can leave assistant. If you want to give assistant instructions, essentially this is telling what GPT is. We're going to say you are a web cafe AI customer support agent. Or what we can do, because of the fact that ChatGPT might not really understand web cafe AI yet, we can say you are an AI automation expert. So maybe you'd run a lawnmower business, you are a lawn mowing expert. Whatever your industry is, whatever product you sell, make GPT an expert in that field. From here, we're going to do a memory key. If you're familiar with GPT, essentially think of a memory key as a chat, fine tune it, and how it outputs. So what we're going to do here is going to say customer response. This is random 32 characters. And we're going to do customer response, any 32 characters. And we're going to do test or action. And let's see if we need to change this around a little bit more. All right, perfect. So as you see here, it came out with 2 responses. I know I had asked ChatGPT to do 3, but it seems that it didn't want to do 3 because it reached a token usage limit. So if it did the third one, it would have been like 2.5, which is fine. And we have 2 responses here, which is going to be the enthusiastic tone and a professional tone. Now, if you're really, gun-ho and you want to make sure it does 3, what you could do here in theory is that you can make another ChatGPT block and then do 1 for each response, if that makes sense. So I would do generate 1 business tone response that's enthusiastic, 1 that's professional, and make each one a block. I'd suggest stay with 1 block. It's going to lower your Zap usage. It's going to lower your overall cost when it comes to this kind of stuff. But from here, we got our responses, and let's make sure we can add these responses as a reply. So we're going to go ahead and create a new block here, and we're going to do Gmail. And we're going to go ahead and say create a draft. We're going to continue, and then the subject and the body is what we're going to want to manipulate here. And from here, we're going to go ahead and make sure we're going to the right person. So for the 2, we're going to go to the person that just sent that email, which is going to be the from email. And then you can add CC, you can add a BCC, you can add the from email, which is probably going to be the primary Gmail account that's already here. So you need to do that. Body, we're going to just go ahead and enter in what we just created here. And then from here, you could add a signature that's maybe already associated with your account. You can add another label, and you can add some attachments. Maybe you have a PDF you sent to every single client that you could potentially have. Add that attachment there. We're going to go ahead and make sure we get the subject line here, so then we can have a pre-made subject line that is tailored to the body that we just created. In order to do so, all we need to do essentially is create another ChatGPT block here. And we're going to go ahead and do conversation again. And we're going to say, based off the body of this email, go ahead and generate a subject line. So let's go ahead and let this load real quick. All right, so we're going to go based off the body of this email, semicolon, parentheses. Let's grab the body, generate an effective email subject line, and then we're going to add a parameter here. Parameter include, we're going to do quotations, web cafe AI in the subject line. Now you might be saying, why are you adding quotations? Is to make sure that when the output occurs, it actually spells it like that, structures it like that, as that is the way I want it. We're going to up our model to GPT-4 here. And then we don't necessarily need to change anything else here. I like using a memory key so that the formatting is consistent. We're going to go ahead and test this action, and then we should be getting an effective subject line based off of these 2 responses, because it kind of understands the context of what we're dealing with here. All right, so I got an error here. If you ever get an error like this, you can go ahead and just say test action again. It may require me to have less input data that's occurring here, and that'll make more sense in the sense of there's a certain max amount of text you want to input for a conversation. So I may need to add a 3.5 block here in order to condense this information in order to effectively have an output. So let's see if this runs one more time. If I run into that error again, I'm going to go ahead and add a ChatGPT 3.5 block to help solve this issue. All right, so I got the error again. No problem. Let's go ahead and add a 3.5 block here in order to mitigate errors that occur, as long-term and scaling wise, you don't want to deal with it if you keep getting errors when you're running flows. So what I'm going to do here is generate, this is the body of the email, semicolon, parentheses, and we're going to go ahead and grab this, generate a 4-sentence summary of what's being said in the email. We're going to hit, that is what we need right here. And then we're going to use 3.5 here because of the fact that we're just doing a simple formatting. We're not asking for it to be comprehensive. We're simply just asking you to summarize a block of text, which 3.5 can do in a jiffy. All right, perfect. So as you see here, we got our output. The email is from WebCafe AI in response to an inquiry about their AI automation services for a real estate business. They are enthusiastic about the potential of their platform to improve productivity and offer competitive pricings. From there, we grab that block of data. Since we're dealing with less data being inputted, we won't get that error that we saw before. And we can go ahead and hit continue here. I'm gonna go ahead and change the key real quick. I wanna start fresh. And then let's see what the subject line comes up with. All right, perfect. So as you see here, we got our subject line: maximize real estate productivity with WebCafe AI, competitive pricing and tailored services. What you'll notice though is there's quotation marks. So we're gonna go ahead and add a formatter block. And I wanna say, if you felt like you've learned something so far, go ahead and like the video. It's completely free and it helps us here at WebCafe AI. And you wanna see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe. So we're gonna go ahead and do the event of text, and we're gonna go ahead and choose a transformation of replace. And essentially all we're going to do is put the input of the subject line that we were dealing with, and then we're going to find the quotation mark and we're going to replace it with empty space so that we can get our subject line ready to go. And from there, all we need to do is add it to our subject here, our formatted version, and we're going to go to the email that sent the inquiry and then the body that we had previously generated. From here, I'm going to simply publish this. So I'm going to skip this test because I want to add another email or send another email, and then I want to show you live what it would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this. We're good to go. The Zap is good to go. And one thing I want to point out as well, as you'll notice, conversation, we can go ahead and rename this. So I'm going to go ahead and say replace the original draft. I'm going to go ahead and rename this to body of the email. And I'm going to go ahead and rename all these real quick. All right, so I went ahead and renamed all these ChatGPT blocks. As always, you can find the Zap in the description below. So go ahead and click that link, add it to your profile for completely free. I'm going to go ahead and publish this, and then I'm going to send another test email. And with that test email, I'm going to show you live what this would look like. All right, so we got our email here. I've recognized that, okay, so this is a customer inquiring about a construction business. All right, let's go ahead and add the customer response tag. And then all you would need to do is reload here, but I want to show you real quick on the back end. You can go ahead and come over here to history. And then in history, you'll be able to see the actual run. So it may take a couple seconds for Zapier to recognize this, but once it recognizes it, it'll be triggered because we got a new label added to that Gmail and the specific label that we were created earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and reload this until I can see the run. Boom, there we go. And from here, we're going to go ahead and be able to click here and see the run play out live, which is really cool. And then once it is fully done, we'll see that new draft be created, and we'll be able to get a draft right here. All right, perfect. So as you see here, we got our draft. Revolutionize your construction business with WebCafe AI, tailored automation solutions for success. And then we come over here, we got our first response, which is an enthusiastic tone, and we got a professional tone. And then it looks like it was even able to generate that third email, a helpful tone. And we can read over them. Thanks for reaching out to learn more about web AI automation services and how they could help benefit your construction business. At WebCafe AI, we pride ourselves offering top-notch AI solutions. Our platform offers 3 services, 250, 500,000, and a variety. Don't hesitate to schedule a call with us, and so on. So you can choose essentially which tone. So let's say I read over the email and I want to go ahead and do a enthusiastic tone. So what I would do here is just delete this. And then I can just delete all of this, and then I'll be good to go. And I'll be able to have the signature if I had that, but you'd be able to send off that email right away. That is tailored specifically to the inquiry that you just received. Thank you for watching today's WebCafe AI lesson on ChatGPT and automation and how that can affect your business and leverage it for your business. Check out that playlist right there if you want to see other ways GPT and Zapier can work together to boost productivity in your business. And overall, make sure to subscribe as we do a bunch of videos on these topics. We also do courses here at WebCafe AI, so you can check those out in the description below. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.